Welcome to ABNERDITY, your monthly show on VeryTastyProductions, where we talk on an absurd level about the things we like to nerd out about.
I get it.
Yeah, you got it.
I get it.
You got it too, YouTube. I'm your host, Matt Tasty Saporito. This is my co-host this month, Dan Sweeney. This month we're talking about The Dark Knight Rises, Batman, and all other Batman-related things. Christopher Nolan Trilogy.
Comic books, other movies.
All that fun stuff.
You know, the reason Tasty asked me on is I have a PhD in Batmanomics, so.
Batmanomics, he has a minor in Batwingology.
I do,
Yeah.
I do, and I'm working on my my doctorate in Robonetrics.
Yes, it's very tough field.
Yeah,
to
there's
get
so
into.
there's so many of them. You know there were like 5
Ridiculous.
Robins in the comic books?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You learn things.
This is why I'm here, folks.
Every day. To start things off, I'd like to do a Dark Knight Rises mini review. Obviously, The Dark Knight Rises, Batman's third outing. It's been 8 years since the last movie, and Bane, this mercenary, crazy genius awesomeness, has come to Gotham to kind of fulfill Ra's al Ghul's plans from the first movie. Basically, the destruction of Gotham. My first impulse when talking about this movie would be definitely go see it 2-3 times, buy the DVD, Blu-ray. What I'd like to talk about, and about any of Christopher Nolan's 3 Batman movies, is that it's driven by the performances. You got Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne / Batman. You got Tom Hardy as Bane. You had Heath Ledger as the Joker, huge.
Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul.
Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, which was fantastic.
You know, before we get moving further on, I just want to say Anne Hathaway was the only question mark in my mind going to see the third movie. Incredible. Great performance, great dedication to the character. She did all of her own stunts.
Which is really awesome for an actress of, someone like Anne Hathaway, which you wouldn't expect to do any stunts.
She doesn't have to.
Yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt did a good job. Gary Oldman, obviously, back. Another thing was Christian Bale portrayed the most interesting rendition of Bruce Wayne I've seen. Yeah.
Seeing Bruce Wayne in his weakened, battered state really added a whole new dimension to the character that doesn't get talked about a whole lot. Everybody thinks of Batman as this indestructible, superhuman person, but really he gets the crap beat out of him every night. And it was evidenced by when he went to go see the doctor and he said you've had, 3 or 4 undiagnosed concussions, you have no cartilage left in your knee, and I can't recommend that you go heli snowboarding. By the way, did you guys notice that the doctor was Officer Dangle from Reno 911? I almost couldn't take that scene seriously.
Yeah, no, I was laughing throughout that scene because of that reason. If I were to give it a rating, say out of 10, I would give it a 9. It's definitely up there. I don't know if it's the best Batman movie of the trilogy. The reason I wouldn't say that is because they're all pretty consistently awesome. When I saw Batman Begins, I didn't really have expectations. I didn't really know anything about Christopher Nolan. I was just like, hey, there's a Batman movie out, and I saw it, and I was like, this is fantastic. Dark Knight came out. It was amazing. Dark Knight Rises, and, stakes are higher than ever, and it rose to the occasion, in my humble opinion.
It was a perfect finish for the trilogy.
That being said, that's a great little segue there. Talking about the Christopher Nolan trilogy as a whole, which I thought was really important, it was consistently fantastic. Every single movie had great performances, great story. It was real, it was gritty, it was different than any other superhero movie I've ever seen. First movie had Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow. I still kind of question Cillian Murphy, but I did enjoy it. He wouldn't have been my first choice. But then again, which of his villains would have been my first choice? Except for maybe Tom Hardy. Heath Ledger clearly wasn't my first choice. I was one of those people who heard Heath Ledger, that's the guy from Brokeback Mountain and 10 Things I Hate About You. He's going to be playing the greatest, or the most well-known Batman villain ever. For me that was a weird thing, but then I saw it and it was awesome.
There was really no weak link in any of the 3 movies. Like there was no Phantom Menace. They were all awesome. Watching the third movie, sitting in the theater at the midnight premiere, I couldn't help but compare this trilogy to another very famous trilogy in film. And stay with me on this. That's Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy, starring Al Pacino, Robert Duvall, Robert De Niro, Marlon Brando, and then you had people like James Caan and Diane Keaton in those films as well. Incredible cast, incredible directing, incredible production crew. director of photography, costuming, and the same thing holds true for the Nolan Trilogy as well. You get the same director with the same vision, the same director of photography, the same costuming people, the same prop people, the same production crews, the same acting pool with people like Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tom Hardy, Christian Bale, Anne Hathaway,
Marion Cotillard,
Heath Ledger, like,
just a fantastic cast for a fantastic trilogy,
and a fantastic combination on all levels of the production as well.
Yes.
And I think that it might take some people aback at first, my comparison between the two trilogies, but I think there's a very valid comparison.
I don't know if I'd say, it's a modern Godfather, but as far as production quality goes, consistency goes, they're two comparable movies. The next thing we'd like to bring up is the importance of the villain, which was really made important in the Batman trilogy, if you ask me. In the first movie, we had Cillian Murphy play Scarecrow, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. We had Heath Ledger as the Joker, which once again surprised me. And then we had Tom Hardy as Bane, Marion Cotillard, who we later find out was Talia. I don't know about you, I called that, kinda. I was like, she's coming on way too hard to Batman.
I had no idea. When she admitted who she was for real in the movie, all over the person in front of me.
Yeah.
Just brain matter. And it didn't stop there. I was completely fooled. Yeah. I was fooled beyond all belief.
I mean, I wasn't.
You're a jerk.
But yeah, her as Talia al Ghul, pulling the strings.
And that's one of the things that really made the trilogy complete, I think. That tie back to the first movie.
The fact that the whole movie they were showing Talia's origin, it was really cool. And one thing about the importance of the villain, people are starting to understand that every good superhero needs an equally good villain. A villain that challenges them on every fundamental level. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the Joker. In the whole movie, he's challenging Batman to defy his morals. And we're seeing a lot of this more in other movies. The Avengers, Loki was a pretty good villain.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up, actually. First of all, Loki made Thor watchable.
It's great to see because we're getting more than just a cardboard, I'm evil for evil's sake villain.
Yeah, Nolan doesn't use Bond villains. So one thing I really found interesting about both the first movie and the third movie was the choice in villains that they made. Now, the second movie had the Joker and Two-Face, which are two huge villains in the Batman universe, and probably two of the most well-known. In the first one, you had Ra's al Ghul, and you had the Scarecrow, played by Cillian Murphy. Those, in the grand scheme of things, I would put on the mid-tier level. Same thing with Bane and with Talia al Ghul. And it's just sort of interesting that the screenwriter went with those characters to start off the franchise and then so intelligently craft a story around characters connected to the first movie. And that was really impressive to me, that they knew the lore well enough to adapt outside of it.
I'm always interested in how they pick the villains, especially in, a sequence of movies. Like, obviously I had to carefully select what villains they wanted to use. I always felt kind of cheated that Two-Face was kind of an afterthought.
Not to take away from his performance as Two-Face at all.
No, because he did a great job.
He did a fantastic job as Dent and as Two-Face. Yeah. The other two things I want to talk about are the sort of differences between Catwoman and Talia. In the comic books, they're both love interests of Bruce Wayne at one point or another. And in the most recent incarnation of the Batman universe, Bruce and Talia have a kid, Damian Wayne, and he's the current Robin of the Batman universe in DC. And Catwoman was always sort of this anti-hero, but she was never a supervillain. You know what I mean? She would team up, get what she wanted out of it, and then peace out. Sort of transformation of the character over the movie to end up being allies, would you say?
Catwoman?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was definitely a sense of altruism with Anne Hathaway's Catwoman.
Yeah, towards the end.
Yeah, where she, couldn't leave Gotham, she couldn't let it be destroyed.
Another thing that really struck me about the Nolan movies was the appreciation for the DC canon. Canon being like the official story arcs. The origin of Batman and Batman Begins rang really true with the origin story that we all know. Rich kid loses his parents, falls in a well somewhere, gets scared of bats. Where he departed from it was everything after that, kind of. I mean, Lucius Fox was a really big character in the comic. Outfitter of Batman. Alfred being there for Bruce all the time was another huge part of the comics. Other than that, it was really a new take on Batman. Especially in this third movie, where just all bets were off. The use of Bane in combination with Talia and, in turn, Ra's al Ghul was brilliant. That was a brilliant way, like I said, to tie it all together. So, I mean, the only thing I'm sort of interested to see what they do with, or if they do anything with it at all, is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character.
Possibilities of a Justice League movie. Will they reboot the movies? Will they continue with a different director and make Joseph Gordon-Levitt like the next Batman, or even better, like a Nightwing?
Are they going to put Batman in the Justice League movie at all?
Because obviously Christopher Nolan said he's done. Christian Bale said he's done.
You know, the studios are in talks. DC and Warner Brothers are in talks to hopefully start pre-production for this within the next 5 years. Green Lantern just came out and sucked. Man of Steel, is that the new Superman movie that's coming out?
Yeah, Man of Steel, directed by Zack
Man of Steel
Snyder.
is coming out soon. So we'll have to see how that turns out. If that universe and that incarnation of Superman does okay, I would assume they'll keep it. But they gotta do something with Green Lantern.
Which I've already heard they're in talks to reboot Green Lantern again. Without Ryan Reynolds as the Green Lantern,
Forget
which
that
would
guy.
be a great idea. He was a better Deadpool than he was a Green Lantern.
He was a great Deadpool.
Yeah. Matter of fact, they did a Deadpool movie. I'd be all for that.
It's just sort of interesting to think about what they're going to do with this whole Nolan universe of Batman, because it is sort of its own creature. It's a combination of canon and creativity. It's wonderful, but it would be sort of hard to integrate with the rest of the Justice League universe and the rest of the DC universe. It's its own animal.
Comment question: who would you like to see as a new Batman in a rebooted movie, or how would you like to see them further this universe? Personally, I'd like to see them continue with this Batman universe and make like a Nightwing movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's a terrific actor. I think he did a great job. I don't think the story should end here. What they do with it from here on out is going to be interesting because, like you said before, Nolan and Bale said they're off. They're done with it. This is the trilogy. This is what they set out to make, and they've made it, so they're done. That being said, wouldn't a Nightwing movie be sweet?
It would be awesome.
I wouldn't mind seeing Anne Hathaway in a Catwoman movie.
That would be really good, too.
Just as long as it's not anything like the Halle Berry disaster. It was awful.
Yeah.
And everyone that's seen it knows what I'm talking about.
Thanks for watching ABNERDITY. You can follow me on Twitter, right here, or you can follow VeryTastyProductions on Facebook, or you can follow Dan
on Twitter, right there. I've also got a YouTube page, youtube.com/Dan Sweeney. You can hit that up as well, and there's a Facebook page to like for that.
Also subscribe, wherever the subscribe button is.
Probably up there somewhere.
And we'll have a weekly video up for you guys on VeryTastyProductions or on Opening Monologue. Thanks for watching. See you next time.